Hi, Kara.
Hello.
Hello.
So, welcome to our little show, our little ditty here. So we're sort of just interviewing mainly voice actors, but we didn't specifically set out to go. Let's just do voice actors. Pretty much anybody involved in the nerd world or anybody that's sort of nerdy and interesting.
And from what we've seen, I think you might be part of that.
Right. So we thought we'd reach out to get to know you a little more as a person because we know so much about a lot of the projects you've worked on, and we just kind of want to get to know you and what sort of drove you in life because we know you were an anime fan growing up, and
Yeah,
we're about the
into
same
anime
age.
games, that sort of stuff.
Yeah, so we're about the same age. We probably had a lot of the same sort of experiences with discovering anime growing up. What sort of did you geek out for early on?
Um, well, I didn't start getting into anime and video games until later in life, like around when I was a teenager. I mean, I was
Right.
sort of aware of certain things like Pokemon and Sailor Moon growing up, but we didn't have cable TV in my house or anything like that. So
Yeah,
I didn't
yeah.
really get to like watch a lot
I
of
can
stuff,
relate to that for sure.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So when you did get into video games, what type of video games did you play? What type of video games do you like to play now?
Fighting games were kind of my first big exposure to like fighting or to video games that I really enjoyed, and I still do play fighting games.
Yeah.
Obviously, I don't have a ton of time like I used to, but
Right.
I got a custom built arcade cabinet during the pandemic, so
Ooh.
it's
Whoa.
basically
Okay.
like
What's on it? What games are?
well.
Yeah, we're gonna have to roll that back. That one.
So it hooks up through HDMI, so you could technically put like anything in there. Well,
Oh,
anything
is it a
PlayStation,
Raspberry Pi
because
based then?
well, it just kind of when you get down to it, it's sort of like a TV and sticks inside a fancy cabinet, like built into a fancy cabinet. So
Nice,
you
nice.
just plug the little HDMI thing into the PS4, and then you plug in the things for the controls into the USB ports, and then you're good to go. And so we got it to work with a PS1 too, with the converter.
Oh,
Cool,
nice,
cool.
nice. So it's just like a entertainment cabinet that you can
Yeah.
customize. Oh, nice. So
So
what are you playing now?
did you keep up on like Pokemon Go or anything like that?
Yes, I've actually been playing Pokemon Go since the day it came out. I'm
Right, yeah.
currently almost at level 42, Team
Oh
Mystic,
man.
Nice.
and I am like one of those hardcore like people who raid all the time and
Yeah.
Man,
do all that kind of stuff.
I wish I had people around me that would raid. I feel like I'm the only person in my town that plays because you're getting the remote raid passes, and there's
Yeah.
literally two that happen right down the street from me, and nobody ever does them. And so I'm sitting here like against a 50,000 Thunderous, and I'm just like, okay, I can maybe get it down a
Remind
tenth of
me.
HP.
Remind me, I'll give you my friend code because I send out remote invites all the time. So if you put your status to online, I'll typically go and you can invite up to 5 people to any remote raid. So I will just invite people on my
Oh, hell
list and
yeah.
I raid all the
Cool.
time.
So we checked out. Obviously, we're on Instagram a lot, and clearly you're a bit of a Bowie fan.
Maybe a little.
Bit.
Maybe a little.
I mean, it's hard not to be when you kind of grow up a nerd. It's really he speaks the language, or spoke the language very well. What else type of music are you into?
I am really into classic rock. And oddly
Yeah.
enough, a lot of my interest for classic rock sort of stemmed from an anime and manga, believe it or not.
Oh
Ooh.
yeah, nice.
Yeah, Jojo's Bizarre Adventure. It's just
Right.
full of classic rock references. I mean, pretty much every other character is named after some kind of like band or album or song. And it was actually
Right.
to the point where when they localized it, they had to censor a lot of the names because, they didn't want to get in trouble in the US for copyright. So,
Yeah, no, that's really the genre I think we both kind of grew up on, and
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
so a lot of those songs growing up are so ingrained into what we sort of jam out to now. And then obviously, we were in bands, so other things kind of got filtered in classical and jazz and stuff
Jazz
like
and
that.
oh yeah. Lots of good stuff like that. So as I know Jojo just blew up recently, which is like over the last 2 years.
Oh, yeah,
Before that you heard
I
like
see it
nothing
everywhere
about
now.
Jojo, and now it's everywhere.
Yeah, I mean, it's been interesting for me to watch too, because I've been into JoJo for about 8 years now, and I thought I got into it relatively late compared to like some other people I knew in the
Right,
fandom.
right.
Yeah, because what was it? The late 80s is when
Yep,
it
JoJo
first
is
started.
literally as old as I am because part one started in the manga in 1987. So
Yeah.
yeah.
So I mean, it helps you connect to the characters, right? As bizarre as that is. Haha, sorry, we're dads. Um,
Bad joke. Bad joke.
See, so it's
Man.
accurate when you listen to Dad Rock, right?
that's right. That's exactly it. That's exactly it.
Well,
So
to our
what?
kids, anything we listen to is dad music, so
Yeah,
it doesn't.
yeah. My son likes just about everything, but he's only 4, so he hasn't quite got his own opinions on that yet. We'll
That's
get
right.
there.
I'm
Eventually, he'll
uncool
hate
already.
everything I do.
You'll be uncool in a year or two. Don't worry.
Yeah. What other anime have you been watching or following?
Um, Lately I haven't been able to watch a ton unless it's like something kind of for work, like
Right.
I'm in this show, so I need to watch it to kind of get an idea what happens. So I had watched Yashahime in Japanese as that was coming out because, in the role of Setsuna, obviously my character is really important in the show, so I wanted to kind of
Right.
get an idea of what was going on with the story and stuff like that. I did in terms of like stuff that I've watched just for fun recently, I did watch Fully Coolly Progressive and Alternative because
Hell
Oh,
yeah.
I
nice.
know they've been out for a while and like I watched the
Right.
original back in the day and really liked it, but everyone's like saying that they didn't like the new ones. So I just never like made it a priority to watch it. And then one day I'm like, oh, it's on Crunchyroll. I should just watch it. It's like 6 episodes for each of them. It's not
I
going to be
still
that
Yeah,
need
much
yeah.
to I still
time.
need to catch up on those. But
Man, you
some of the
gotta
best music.
not listen to what other people say because sometimes you just miss out doing that. I enjoyed it.
Yeah,
And
me too.
that's actually the original Fully Cooley, which I guess it's the same for the new one, but that I discovered the band The Pillows through Fully
Yeah.
Cooley, and I love me some Pillows.
Oh,
Man,
And
me too.
between the pillows and the seatbelts, like discovering them
right, the
through
Cowboy
anime
Bebop.
is just
Yeah.
some of the best like favorite music that I will listen to.
I mean, thankfully, there's a nerd culture that will help you discover this music and be able to listen to it regularly. Because I mean, you get on Amazon Prime Music or whatever, you're not going to find it, and it's those
Yeah.
OTSs or OST. I don't know. I got a little dyslexia going on right now. Original soundtrack OSTs. Yeah,
OSTs,
there it
yeah.
is. The
OSTs,
OSTs are fantastic.
You guys might
absolutely.
also like the Guilty Gear OST because everything in Guilty Gear is also inspired by classic rock, and the
Oh,
creator
okay.
was like
Oh,
a huge
nice.
fan of Queen and stuff. So there's just like a whole bunch of like references, and you can even hear in like some of the instrumentals, and it's like,
Yeah.
oh, that sounds like it'd be a Queen song right there and stuff.
Nice. See, I'm familiar with the Guilty Gear games, but I'm not much of a fighter game fan only because I am terrible at them. I mean, absolutely terrible. Load me up some Ultimate Mortal Kombat 3 on the Super Nintendo, and I'm going to do all right. But you load up Street Fighter 4 or 5 or the new Mortal Kombats, and mm-mm.
It's a lot, especially because a lot of the fighting games these days are pretty execution heavy. So it's kind of like,
Oh
do you
yeah,
want to spend a
Right.
lot of time training? Like, that's one of the reasons I like to play on arcade sticks because, especially something like Guilty Gear, it's like a lot of the super commands are pretty execution heavy. So it's like, well, do I really want to do this like forward, back, half circle, forward, back, forward command on like a controller?
Oh
No, I don't think
geez.
so.
When Street Fighter 4 came out and I was trying to do some of the like ultimate moves and stuff, I'm like, okay, I swear I have input this 8 times and it's not triggering. What am I doing wrong?
Well, yeah, even doing something relatively simple like a Shoryuken on a controller, I think is a lot harder.
That's
Yeah.
one of the reasons why
Especially some of the early Xbox controller, it was so bad. Like it didn't
Oh,
know what
yeah.
you were doing.
see
It didn't know what you're doing.
I've invested into the expensive controllers because they have better D-pads so that I can, if I need a roll, I can roll without like it not pushing the button in the right direction or something. Well, one thing we always like to ask is like when you were first getting into it, who was one of the first people you met that you kind of got to geek out on? Like, oh my goodness, I can't believe I get to meet you because of work.
Well, there were a few people, and this was well before I actually got into the industry myself, but I was interested in doing it. I did stuff
Yeah.
online. I was on like hobbyist forums, all that kind of stuff back in the day. But like I didn't really know what I was doing. It was I'd barely taken an acting class, that sort of thing, just really, really new and just kind of like, yeah, just a dumb weeb, whatever you will. But there were a few people who did like take the time to talk to me, and I never forgot that because they didn't have to do that. One of them was Johnny Young Bosch because I went to this like VIP meet and greet thing at a convention. It was like
Nice.
in Canada. Like I had gone to Canada for like my post senior trip after high school or whatever.
Yeah.
And Johnny was a guest there. And I remember like, and I'm sure it was incredibly awkward just being like, yeah, I really want to be a voice actor and I practice and I do stuff on the internet with my friends and stuff like that. But he was very kind and he sat down and took the time to talk to me. And then Yuri Lowenthal was another one who, just when I had no clue what I was doing, I sent him my like terrible homemade demo and I was like, hey, what do you think of it? And of course I like give people a disclaimer, like, don't do this. But, this was like a totally different time and there was not really information online. Like now there's so many resources. I help write
Yeah.
resources for people. There's so much information, but it wasn't like that back in like, 2005, 2006. So,
Right.
Yeah, and
The
he
internet was
took the
growing
time.
still.
Mm-hmm.
And he said next time you visit California, you can sit in on some of my sessions. And that is like such a priceless experience if you want to get into this, if you get to watch somebody work in a real show.
Yeah.
I think now they're a
Wow.
lot more careful about doing that because of like NDAs and all that. But different time.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
No,
That's awesome. Those are definitely two of our kind of icons as well. So
Yeah, you got out more words than I probably would have if I met Johnny Young Bosch in person. Yeah.
Well, that's the other weird thing because, I do sometimes meet. I mean, we don't record together for the most part, but sometimes just in the course of work and stuff, you
Right.
will meet these people who have been pretty big for a while or they've done a lot of stuff in the business. And it's kind of weird because I know like a lot of people are just like, oh, that's so cool that you're friends with this person or you met this person or whatever. And it's like, yeah, it's cool, but they're also just like my friend,
Right.
Mhm.
They're a human being in real life.
what?
He's
They're not just
Vash
a
the
voice.
Stampede.
My
Or
world
the
is
Black
ruined.
Power Ranger. A crazier question, kind of, if you had to be stuck in a world, any other world that's like not this universe, could be something you voiced in, could be something you like to play or something you like to watch. What world would you want to be stuck in?
Ooh, maybe Pokemon, because how cool would it be if you could just like
Boom.
go around and catch creatures and like you ride your bike
Yes.
everywhere and you can
Yes,
just go see
yes,
the daycare
yes.
couple and they're like, hey, I got an egg for you. You want to ride around with it?
That is my same exact fucking answer. My reasons are a little bit different, but that is
Oh,
my
man.
same exact answer.
You just gave him justification. And no, I love it. I love that. It's a solid
See,
answer
because my reasoning is like even an idiot can survive in Pokemon world.
Right?
Like they have idiots that are successful trainers. And I don't want to be, like I've said before, I don't want to be stuck in Star Wars and just be trapped in Tatooine for 15 years and just be surrounded by sand. If I'm in Pokemon,
you can catch
I
all
can
the
just-
sand Pokemon.
I can just hug a Pokemon, That's
And
it.
I love nature. So Pokemon,
Yeah,
I feel
yeah.
like there's just so much nature and stuff.
Oh,
Because I think
There's
a
so much
runner up.
camping.
Yeah.
Like, I've
Like a
never
runner up
seen-
from you. Oh,
Oh,
go
go
ahead.
ahead. Oh, it's just because I've never seen so many like homeless children that are still happy.
Right?
in the
It's like
world.
happy and say it's like, oh, maybe you'll have to fight this wild Pokemon, but it's okay because you raised up your Pokemon.
Right. Nobody dies.
Until
like,
you are
unnecessarily.
the one trainer on Route 3 that accidentally got skipped and they're just heading back to catch something and now you've got to battle your Rattata against level 84 Blastoise.
Yeah.
So what's your runner up? We haven't heard a runner up yet.
Yeah.
That's exciting.
Well, because another thing that I had in mind was Legend of Zelda for similar reasons. But I think the thing with that is like, oh, there's some creatures that are pretty scary, like anything that's like spider
Right.
looking. I'm just like, I don't want to deal with that. So,
The
Well,
Skulltulas and the
I
yeah.
I'm a little addicted to technology also, and
man, I would be terrified of running into what are they called? A Lionel? The big like lion centaur looking things that shoot lightning
oh
at
man,
you
yeah.
for Breath of the
I
Wild.
mean, they don't bring it up in the video game, but you got to think about like scurvy and stuff like that. You could get. They
I
don't
feel like
have.
there's a lot of stuff that could kill you in Zelda, and that's why it's my runner-up and not my first.
That's fair.
It would
That's
be
fair.
fun though. If you could just be there for like a couple days and experience
Yeah.
it, that would be.
So in a similar vein, if you had to be stuck in one voice, like you had to be the character, what character that you've played would you want to be stuck as?
Like I had to actually be that character in terms of like I would be in their world and have their personality and everything.
Yeah,
Yeah.
we'll go with
Yeah, we
that.
can go with that.
I don't know, like you. I don't know if you're like necessarily stuck in the world, but the personality thing, yeah, the mannerisms, the
The
vocal
voice.
expressions.
Because see, there's some characters where it's like, I really like playing this character and I like this character's design and everything like that.
Right.
But everyone around me would be so annoyed. Like I love Seraphina from Disgaea 5, but no one in the real world could stand to be around her because she'd be doing the Ojo-sama laugh every 5 seconds. So.
Very true. Very true.
Yeah. Yeah.
And it's like 2B is very, she's very strong and she's so capable of everything. But at the same time, it's like 2B's personality is like completely different from mine. And I'm
Mhm.
like, I mean, would I want to be like that different?
Right.
Yeah.
Understandable. Like that. I don't know, because I mean, I'm sure there are a couple voices that you do that are not just crazy or insane, but then there's the personality quirks that just you're like, man, do I want to deal with
that was
every
that was
day?
fun doing for 2 hours. I wouldn't want to do that for the rest of my life.
I mean, I can think of it like if I had to choose a fictional character that I'm like, okay, I would be like this person if I could. I mean, I don't play this character, but
Jar Jar
Jolyne from
Binks?
JoJo's Bizarre Adventure.
Oh, sorry.
No, it starts with Joe.
Yeah, I mean, shoot, I don't think there's any. Russell, check the rule books. Are we allowed to do characters they haven't voiced?
I mean, we make the
We'll allow
rules. Yeah.
Yeah, we'll allow it.
Yeah, we make the
Go
rules.
ahead. Sure. I like that answer though.
Yeah.
Is that your number one anime? Is that your favorite?
Yeah,
For
I
sure?
have a
Cool.
tattoo from it.
Oh, do you? I've got a tattoo from my favorite anime too. It's right here,
Nice.
Swordfish.
Nice.
little
That's bold to
Cowboy
like get
Bebop.
it on your hand and everything.
Yeah, well, I already got my job, so I didn't have to do the interview twice. So I was like, okay, you know what? We'll do it.
Yeah.
No, it was for a long time. I was like, no tattoos below the cuff because I'm gonna have to do interviews or stuff like that, or no tattoo for a while. It was no tattoos below the sleeves because I had to wear t-shirts at jobs, and it's becoming more and more acceptable.
Mhm.
I don't think people really hold that against anybody like they used to 10 years ago, 15 years ago when we started looking for employment.
Yeah, it's
But-
thankfully gotten a lot better, but that was
Yeah.
something I was really happy with some of my more specialized jobs later in life where it's like it didn't matter that I want to
Right.
have crazy hair colors and tattoos and piercings and all that.
Mhm.
Well, that and I stopped working customer service, so they can just hide me away, and I don't have to be seen.
That's right.
So, what was the since we're in the voice acting realm, I love to ask this question because I'm a narcissist to an extent. Do you like the sound of your own voice?
My normal voice, no, but it depends, like in terms of whether I can deal with hearing myself in something.
Yeah,
It really depends
right.
what it is. Because there's certain voice types that I do where I'm like, okay, like, this sounds like really different from me, so I'm cool with listening to it. I think when it's harder to hear myself is if it's like a character type or a voice type that I don't feel as confident in. So sometimes it's like I'll listen and say like, oh man, I could have done that so much better. Or, oh, why did I
Right.
deliver the line that way? I should have done it like this or whatever. But sometimes it's like if it's something that I work really hard on, then I'm okay with listening to it because I'm like,
Yeah.
I know I put my all into this. Like, I just posted on Twitter last night that for Yashahime, I had to do this like feral demon screaming for Setsuna. And I
Oh,
mean,
cool.
I like put my all into that. Like it was so hard because I don't do, I've had to scream for like video games and stuff, but I don't do a lot of like creaturey stuff or anything like that. So
Right.
it was like something that obviously I worked really hard on and I prepared for. Like I watched that episode in Japanese beforehand just to know what I was in for and stuff. So,
Yeah.
you know.
I'd see. I hate the sound of my own voice, so I love to ask that question. And the answers, a lot, like we get some crazy answers, like that you don't really think about or expect. But I think personally, deep down, everybody just doesn't like the way they sound because it's not the way they hear themselves.
Oh yeah,
But
nobody likes the sound of. I mean, maybe if they're like really super narcissistic or something, but most people do not like the sound of their own voice. It's kind of like how a lot of people prefer to take selfies because in a selfie it's like it's mirrored, so you see how you
right,
look versus like pictures other
yeah,
people take of you. So I think it's kind of similar with the voice stuff. I mean, obviously, as voice actors, like we have to get used to it because we're
right,
constantly recording and doing audition. It's just something like you have to get over time. But the other
definitely.
thing is, like, I don't think most people like their own voice and the way they speak naturally, but I'm thankful for what my voice allows me to do because most of the characters I play don't really sound like me. I'm playing stuff that's higher or lower or has like a certain texture or, like
Yeah,
I
yeah,
like to think I have a fairly big range in terms of voiceover. Like that's kind of my specialty in VO is just being able to go all over the place. So if I'm doing a voice that sounds like way off from how I normally sound, I can listen to it and it's fine. So when I was like around 17, when I first started getting really into voice acting, I became kind of obsessed with Inuyasha. And one of my like original inspirations, and sadly she's retired now, but Monica Story, the original voice of Kagome, I would just listen to her voice over and over and just try to sound like that. Because I was just like,
really,
because to go back to like hating your voice thing, I'm like, man, I wish I had a
yeah,
voice like Monica Story. She just
right.
sounds so cool. And I don't know how close her Kagome was to her natural voice because I'd never heard her speak naturally. I think she
Yeah.
retired before she could do a lot of public appearance stuff. But I used to like always try to match her voice. And Kagome was like my first ever cosplay that I did in my life and all that kind of stuff.
Oh,
So
nice.
it was just really, really cool to be like, hey, I'm Sashomaru's daughter.
Yeah,
Right.
dude. I can't even imagine how that would be like, growing up watching something or loving this fandom and wishing you could be a part of it, and then well, now you are like that. That's just I can't imagine how much joy that brings you.
Oh
Well,
yeah.
and it was so unexpected because I had just accepted long ago, like, I will never be a part of the world of Inuyasha, realistically speaking, because,
Right.
for
It's
one,
over.
they finished it forever ago. And two, it was done up in Canada. And, it's if you're an American, they're not gonna make an exception for you to work on a Canadian production. Like there's all sorts of things that would not really make that possible. So I
Hmm.
was just like, yeah, that's never going to happen for me, but hopefully I'll be in just, other cool things. And then
Yeah.
when they decided to do like kind of I guess you wouldn't really call it bi-coastal, but like, doing it both in Canada and the US for the new series,
Right.
I just couldn't believe it.
Yeah, it's one of those shows like because it was always on real late at nights,
Hmm.
and I would
Had to sneak to stay up and watch it.
yeah, like fall asleep during it and just hear that music in my head. So a lot of times if I can't sleep, if I turn on Inuyasha, bam, I go right to sleep.
I'm still kind of bummed that I feel like a lot of anime now just doesn't go to TV anymore because everything's streaming. So it's
Right.
like
Hmm.
I always had that dream when I was first getting into this of I'd love to like be on a Toonami show that's on every night and like I
Right.
want to be on TV and it's like just because everything is pretty much streaming now it's different and I appreciate that in its own right because people can just check it out whenever they want to, but at
Yeah.
the same time there's so many streaming services and so many choices that a lot of people are like, well, it's only on this one and I don't subscribe to this one or whatever.
So if
uh,
you had to have I don't know if you watch for anime purposes, we call them quirks now because My Hero Academia is so freaking popular and
Yeah.
righteously. But if you had to have one quirk or superpower, what would yours be?
Oh, well, so I have like kind of a few different things because in terms of like Jojo world, I have a stand and I've like decided what my stand ability would be and stuff.
Oh
I
yeah,
have it
yeah,
for Ed.
okay.
But it would be the power to turn any liquid substance into coffee. And yeah, it means I could just like drink coffee whenever I want, but also it could be used offensively against enemies and things like that.
Oh man, can you imagine all your blood being turned into coffee?
Yeah, it could be a pretty
Oh,
scary stand.
that would
Oh,
be.
I was thinking like just turning a cup of something into coffee and then throwing it on somebody, but
Oh
Could do
no.
that
yours
too.
sounds more deadly.
Yeah. I mean, you would probably die pretty quickly.
Like I was thinking like 2nd-degree burns or something, and you're going, I'm killing you with coffee.
No, I mean,
Man.
I thought of that too because this is actually brought up in JoJo by the main villain of the series, where even a stand that seems weak can actually be pretty terrifying depending on how it's used.
Right. If you're creative enough, anything can be a
It's
weapon.
kind of like water bending and being able to blood bend, you know.
Yeah, coffee bending.
I just watched that episode yesterday.
Oh, nice. Oh, nice.
Sorry. That had nothing to do with this conversation. I'm sorry I derailed us a little bit for
I mean,
some Avatar talk.
it's fine. It's fine. So, as a big collector myself, as you can probably see, and that's not even half of it. Do you collect anything? Do you have any big collections or anything you're passionate about?
Yeah, this isn't really anything to do with like nerd stuff, but I collect makeup.
Okay.
I mean, everybody collects something, I feel
Yeah.
like, you know. My wife also collects makeup. It's really, especially if you've done some cosplay or some any sort of costume design, or you just love the makeup design. And there's so many Netflix shows out about it right now, so it is
there's
super like an art form now
it really is.
compared to where it was just some foundation and lining.
I'll get caught up on YouTube scrolling through, and you know how sometimes they'll have those random videos, and I'll just randomly start watching a like a cosplay makeup video, and then I go into another one, and I'm like, why am I watching videos on makeup?
Oh, it's great. I mean, that's how I learned how to do makeup, was just looking at YouTube videos and stuff. Because
Yeah.
it was
Yeah, they have some
definitely the
great
best
ones.
thing that I ever did in terms of like cosplay stuff. Like I'm just a super casual cosplayer, so I don't like make a ton of my own stuff. I'm not like
That's fair.
I don't feel like I'm very good with crafty stuff, but I realized that the thing that I love most about cosplay is doing the makeup.
Well, I
Okay,
mean,
yeah.
that's such a big part of it. If you don't look the part, you know, you can buy costumes. You don't have
is
to build
that-
your own costume.
Is that why you're a Bowie fan? Just because you can do a lot of different makeup?
Well, that helps kind of, you know, he just had really good like fashion and style and stuff, but I have
and
cosplayed different
his features
versions.
for like just his facial features just popped with whatever he did.
Oh yeah.
Oh, I know. I
Like,
have
it's
to
such a
contour
strong
so
line.
much when I cosplay David Bowie.
So what's
No,
But
what
I've done like several of his makeup looks before.
Yeah, I saw a couple. It was super cool. Like, and I with the makeup thing, like my daughter once pulled up. She's about 5 now, and she pulled up a video of this. There's another 5-year-old girl, and she's combing her hair and brushing it, and then she's applying makeup, and it just looks so much
Wow.
better than anything I've seen. And I'm looking at my daughter. I'm like, why the heck am I still brushing your hair? Like,
why can't
she's
you
doing
do this?
Why am I doing it all? But so yeah, YouTube videos, makeup.
What would you say was like one of your favorite cosplays to do?
Ooh, I've got quite a few. I mean, of course, I did Jolyne. I did Asuka from Evangelion. I really liked how that one came out, and I did. Well, I used to do like a lot of Homestuck cosplay back in the day, so I do like the gray paint and everything, and I'm getting back into that rabbit
Yeah.
hole as of
Yeah.
recently.
Nice.
So I'm probably going to do like a glow up version of Vriska Circuit soon.
Oh, cool.
Because like I didn't really know how to do makeup back when I did a lot of my Homestuck cosplay. So now that I do, I want to be like, I want to make this good, you know?
Mhm.
Yeah.
See,
Well,
the
no.
the only cosplay I think I would be good at is a hiker from Pokemon because I kind of look the part.
That'd be awesome. I cosplayed my Pokemon Go trainer before.
Oh, nice.
did you?
Nice. I imagine
I-
that one wouldn't be as difficult as some other cosplays because a lot of it's casual clothing.
I'm
Yeah,
not
I just got
adventurous
team-
enough. I'm not adventurous to cosplay. I like to go and look at people's cosplaying.
Man, I watched a video the other day and I can understand being a casual cosplayer and not getting into like building the costumes because I watched a video of this woman who did a custom Brigitte from Overwatch, and it was like a demon version, and she carved out every piece of armor and painted everything. She's like, "Yeah, it took me 2 years."
Wow.
2 years? I don't have the attention span to keep 2 hours into something.
Yeah, I'd be
2
afraid that like
years.
the game wouldn't be popular anymore after 2 years.
Yeah. But see, then you're that one person at the con that you get that one other person who recognizes your costume. It's like, oh man, I love that.
That's kind of how Jojo used to be. I mean, never like quite, there's always people who knew Jojo, but like if you were cosplaying something from one of the parts that hadn't been animated yet, then
Oh yeah.
you wouldn't
Mhm.
have like as many people knowing what it was. But thankfully now it's like everybody knows.
Yeah. I swear when I'm online, I see something about JoJo every single day. And I'm like, eventually I need
sure.
to watch or read this. But it's so daunting to get into, especially because I'm more of a manga than anime, just
Oh,
because.
read the manga. The manga's way further along than the anime. Like they just announced part 6 is getting animated, which is why you've been seeing a ton of
Mhm.
JoJo all over your feeds. But I mean, the manga's up to part 8, so
But that's the problem, though. How many chapters is that?
some parts are longer than others. Like part 7 is pretty long, but because each part is kind of its own like story and it has its own setting and its own characters and stuff, you can, you could like read one part and then take a break and then read another part.
Oh,
It's not
okay.
like something with the
So
same
it's not like a
characters that goes on
continuous
forever.
story all the way through.
No, I mean, there's a lot of things where it's like you see parallels across parts, and sometimes
Mhm.
you do see certain characters that make appearances in other parts, but it's generally like each one is set in its own time period and it has its own setting and
Oh,
stuff
okay.
like
So that is much less daunting.
Oh yeah. Or you, because we've got around us festivals that are going to be taking place, and like bands are going back on tour and
Mhm.
stuff. Or do you have any like cons on the docket for this year? Are you thinking? Are you planning? Scheming?
Probably not until fall. I know that there's some that are opening now and have been opening throughout the pandemic, but I mean, other people can do what they want. I just personally think
Yeah.
that this early on, it's a bit irresponsible to still have mass gatherings because until
Yeah.
like, more people are vaccinated and there's
Right.
more like herd immunity and stuff like that, I just, I'm not going to be like, yeah, risk your lives to come and get my autograph. Like I offer an autograph shop online. I'm like, here, you can get it and I'll personally mail it out to you.
And
Right.
you don't have to die for it.
Yeah.
Like opening up cons to online is probably going to be one of the best things to come out of this, because there are a lot of people who can't go to that
I
con.
really
whether
hope
it
that
be
continues.
a
Did you
disability or a financial thing, and I think that would be awesome if they continue that.
do any like virtual cons?
I did a few. I'm kind of mixed on them, as are a lot of actors, just because
Yeah.
like the thing with online cons is people, for the most part, generally aren't going to pay to attend an online con. So like if
Oh,
you go to
really?
a physical con, it's like, you can have a table and you make autograph sales and you can make like at least some income for going to the
Yeah.
con. Like
Mhm.
obviously, of course, like everyone does it because like we want to meet our fans and stuff. But since you are taking off work, a lot of people want to at least like make some sales or, make some type of income from doing it. But with
Right.
digital cons, there's just not really, the con isn't going to have a budget most of the time to like pay people to do it. And I mean, on the flip side, it's like, yeah, you're
True
not like
that.
traveling
True
and
that.
missing work, but it's still like, you have to get like camera ready and you have to do all this kind of stuff. So it's kind of like not, I don't want to say like not worth it for a lot of people, but it's just kind of something that I feel like isn't going to replace, like if they wanted to have a digital option, like, hey, we're also going to be streaming the panels. And if someone wants to pay
Yeah.
like,
Yeah, maybe
just a small fee, they can watch them. or
maybe that'll
something.
be what
Yeah,
the
that's
digital cons
sort of
kind of
what I was
evolves
thinking.
into is you have the physical con going on, but you have a digital one that you could kind of tap into.
Yeah.
Right. I mean, you're never going to replace the physical thing. I mean, there's a reason why people are just jonesing to get these cons and concerts and stuff started again, even though it's a little too early now,
Mhm.
like right at this moment.
Yeah, like I'm fully
But-
vaccinated, but I'm still masking up and I'm not if there's more than
Totally,
like
yeah.
10 people in a room, I'm good. I'm good.
Well,
Is it
our kids aren't fully
Yeah.
vaccinated and might not be for a while, so I don't want to expose them to that.
Yeah, and I think the other thing too is with physical cons, it's like a social thing for people because you can like, sure, you can
Definitely.
watch panels online, but how is that different from just like, oh, I'll watch a Twitch stream or something?
Yeah.
It's not the same to like not physically be with people and to go to the vendors hall. Like I know a lot of
Oh
vendors and
man.
artists obviously have just been really hurting for the past year because
Oh,
they can sell on
definitely.
Etsy and stuff, but it's not the same. It's
No.
people aren't going to
Putting
make those
something
impulse buys.
in your hands
Yeah.
is so much different than, going online, clicking through a couple pictures and,
There's
the
more of an emotional connection
yeah.
in person than you might get otherwise. But also like that's so true. Like I like to be out with other people that are letting their freak flags fly and feel like you're part of something. That's always cool, you know.
Seeing the cool
Yeah.
costumes. I mean, I guess I could dress up for the one-on-ones.
Yeah, I think one good thing about some of these digital events is sometimes it's an excuse to like raise money for charity and stuff like
Oh,
that.
yeah.
My charities of choice are cat rescues, so I've definitely donated whenever I've had something where I was able to.
Oh, cool. Yeah. Do you
Have
have any
have
specific ones?
Yeah, kitten rescue and kitty bungalow are the two big ones that I donate to.
Okay, cool.
right
Yeah,
on.
I love. I mean, I think that's the first shout out to
A charity we've got.
charities
Yeah.
we've gotten. I'd always love to promote charities for
I,
sure.
Yeah.
I bet your cats have really enjoyed the more at home time.
Yeah, it depends because one of ours was super feral and she's afraid of humans. So she's just like, no, no humans. But the fat and lazy one likes it and stuff. And I actually, this is kind of shameless self promotion in a sense,
Do
but
it.
on my online autograph store, I do have some artwork of my cats that people made for me. And if you
Nice.
buy one of those and my cats will sign it and everything,
Oh, that's
um,
adorable.
then half of the proceeds will go to support a rescue organization.
Oh,
Cool.
that's awesome.
Definitely.
That's awesome. Do you have any other shout outs? I know you have your one website and
Yeah, the community that I admin is called the Voice Acting Club, and it's a really good place for people who kind of want to get into this stuff, or maybe they already are into it and they, have a lot of questions and stuff. Because obviously, I would always get people hitting me up for a few different things, whether it was like, how do I get started, or how do you have any tips for this or this or this? And then also people saying like, hey, I'm just making a volunteer project and I need actors. And I would be like, well, I can't really do it, but I don't know where to maybe ask on Twitter, like that sort of thing.
Yeah.
But now that there's like a specific community where we have like resources for all this kind of stuff, I write articles, people can go on the Discord and ask questions, and someone else will be like, well, here's my
Cool.
experience with, how to do this certain thing you're asking about. And people can post like casting calls. So even if it's just like, hey, I'm making a student project and I just need someone to do a few lines for me, we have stuff like that.
What if you just want to be like a good podcast host, and you feel like you really suck at it, but you just want to be a little bit better? Is there sort of like, do you guys have any advice for just casual talking or voice exercises?
Um, I was gonna say like in terms of just making it sound better, or in terms of like questions and banter, because for that I would say like, oh well, listen to like podcasts that that you like or are really popular, or hosts that you admire, because I know like as actors, like everyone says like,
Yeah.
don't do impressions, but I tell people like, no, just like listen to people who are really good at what they do, who are booking in the
Yeah.
area that you want to book in. You don't have to copy them, but you can be inspired by that.
You can learn. Yeah, definitely.
who would you say is one of your, I know earlier you said well, I'm blanking on the name already, from Inuyasha.
Oh yeah, Monica Story.
Who would you say is one of your other big inspirations that people can listen to now, I should say?
Yeah, one that I mention a lot is Jeremy Lee. She's about my age as well, but she is just so accomplished in her career and so talented. And
Yeah.
she has also got a really big vocal range, and she plays Nier or A2 in Nier Automata for anyone who doesn't know, and and then a ton of other stuff, obviously. But she just has done so much in her career and so many different types of projects and characters, and she's one of those actors who never misses. Like everything that I've heard her in, she is great. And I'm just like, how do you do it? I need your secrets. But I mean, she's been acting since she was a child, so it makes a lot of sense.
Oh
Nice.
yeah, yeah.
Nice.
Oh man, do you read comic books at all, Kira? Did you ever get into
No,
those?
just JoJo manga.
Did you collect them? Did you physically collect them?
No.
It'd be so hard. I don't know how you could.
Like I have a few and stuff just
Yeah.
because, sometimes it's cool to have like some tangible
Mhm.
stuff to display, but I
Right.
have like so much stuff and just not enough space for it. So even in terms of like I have a fair amount of like figurine. I know. I'm like, I wish I had all that. It's so organized how you have it all.
Oh,
back there.
we literally just did this. We switched our bedroom and my office because my office was in the biggest room. And so it's all a little more compact, but I think it looks good. But what you see behind me isn't even like half.
Whoa.
So I've got shelves there, my amiibo,
Whoa.
and then I got 4 shelves going up the walls. Yeah. Just a few.
I just have guitars hanging around and skateboards.
Yeah, I'm a big Kingdom Hearts fan, so I own every single Kingdom Hearts Funko Pop they have ever made, including alternate color variants and issues and
Nerd.
a little bit.
No,
Little
it
bit.
warmed my heart when you said use like manga and display like in the same sentence, like because most people wouldn't be like, oh, here, I'm gonna put this manga on my coffee table for guests to walk in, and because I have a Skyrim walkthrough book, a special art
Yeah,
book,
I've got
Skyrim
that down
art
there.
book.
Yeah.
And my wife asked me why I spent the extra, like, however much money it was.
I think it was like 150 for the collector's
Yeah,
edition. That was
to
an
get-
expensive one.
to get that art book. I'm like, well, because it's a perfect conversation starter. I just set it on the coffee table, and when we have guests, she's like, nobody's gonna want to have that conversation with you. Why did you? What are you doing? So just the fact that you would say that about manga, I appreciate that. Not everybody is as nerdy as I am, I guess.
Well, I'm out of questions, and I think we tried to get rid of her at least twice now.
Yeah, well, we've talked about your bedside manners, man. You gotta have more polite talk. No,
I kid.
Let me run through because I'm pretty sure. I just want to make sure I didn't miss anything because I spent the whole time trying to avoid the theater question.
Yeah, because that's one. Well, I suppose we could ask. Do you enjoy watching theater?
I not that I like dislike it or anything. I just haven't, I guess had the opportunity to watch it that much.
Gotcha.
Man, we did theater a little bit in high school. Well, you more than me.
Yeah.
Eventually, I discovered music, and I moved to the pit. And
See,
they had me-
I loved the acting portion of it.
But I'm not a huge fan of musicals and stuff. I prefer like overly produced, like Mortal Kombat. I liked watching it. The Godzilla that just came out. I'll enjoy the shit out of Space Jam when it comes out. I like stuff that's overly produced, and some of it's garbage, and I don't care. I like to see it, and I like anime and shows. So I get you. I feel you there. It's just never. All right. Well, I've got to go. I've got adulting to do.
Same.
Yeah. But Kira, thank you so much for your generous amount of time that you gave us and chatting with us this evening. And
Yeah,
Yeah, thank you guys so much for having me.
fucking brilliant. Sorry, I curse.
It's all right. We're all adults
just a
here.
little. We make sure we have the E on our, for explicit.
Thought it's
All
all
right.
good.
But again, thank you so much for hanging out with us this evening, and enjoy your adulting. And we'll, as always, keep an eye out for some of your new work. And yeah,
Sweet. Thank you guys so much for being great hosts.
Aw, stop it.
you
That part's
don't
going
have
in.
to lie to
That
us.
part's going in. No. That part's going in. Right at the end.
I'll just cut right there before we say anything. All right,
Yeah.
Kira.
Yeah. We'll just have an
All right.
unprompted compliment of us. That's what we'll do.
Sweet.
Thank you. Have a great night.
Have a
Kira.
wonderful night.
All right. Take care.
You
Bye.
too.
Bye.
Hey, this is Tired Dad, and you've been listening to the Two Dads in a Podcast interview series. For more content, like and subscribe to this channel. You can also follow us on Instagram, Twitch, and everywhere podcasts are available. To help us bring you more of these amazing interviews, you can support us on our Patreon. Just follow the links below, and thanks for watching.